That's a deep run.
Well, here we go, guys. Picks and bans for AHQ versus Fnatic. AZike banned out against Febivim right off the bat. There's a Gangplank ban from Fnatic.
Yeah, Fnatic had quite a unique draft in day one. Hecarim top lane and Shen support, so a bit of a throwback to champions that weren't necessarily seen on the playoff patches. But what's interesting about this is AHQ is a team that had the most time off of any team at Worlds before arriving here, and they have not appeared to adapt well to the new game. So I wonder if it was a stubbornness on their part or if they just need a little while to warm up.
They'll definitely need to look for a comfortable pick on Mount. That is the way a lot of teams think Fnatic can potentially crack. Get a stronger jungler on your jungler player, and then try and shut down Reignover, who is actually the support for all these lanes. Once you get him down, then you can start tackling that wealth of individual talent in all these lanes.
Well, and Elise can do exactly that. A very strong first pick for AHQ. Does leave a lot of power picks open for Fnatic, though.
Elise was banned by Cloud9 against AHQ, so this is a logical pick.
Look at Reignover, look at Reignover.
It's a bit troll,
I'll show you how it's done, kid.
Get in the opponent's mind.
Oh, yes. Remind him.
Now, very often we see some juggernauts here locked in. You know, Darius being picked up early rotation. Is Fnatic going to do the same thing?
I mean, we saw Darius win in our last game, right? But the win wasn't because of Darius. I feel like we haven't seen really any wins where you could say the win was because of that Darius. Looks like they're going to take it anyway, though. Huni is a pretty strong top laner.
He can still be a cog in the machine, and this is one of the first times in the draft phase already we're seeing some already inherent built-in synergy with the Darius. As far as team fights, the assistance for him to get involved is aided by the Sivir.
Also, Sivir, generally a passive laner that can get through most matchup by just farming, which means you can redirect your attention from the game to the Darius, and you touched about that earlier, Jan, how Darius gets pick priority but doesn't get game priority. Fnatic already looking to do that with this draft.
Meanwhile, AHQ thinking about picking up that Gnar.
It really feels like Gnar is the default pick against Darius.
It is. I mean, he's got the range. You can kite it a little bit. You can harass Darius a lot in range, despite that little heal off the Q. Not too surprising to see that picked up. No more Renekton, apparently. Gnar's the go-to pick for everybody here, outside of SKT anyway.
Not everyone can be Marin, unfortunately.
That is true. Jinx possibly picked up as well. Looks like the timer will count down, and yep, it will be Gnar and Jinx locked in.
I like it. With Cocoon and traps available, you already have a decent amount of peel to keep that Darius away from your team. Jinx hyper carry necessary. I do think teams, whenever they pick a Gnar into Darius matchup, they actually lock in too much split push. Like we saw IG2, they went for like a 1-3-1, and it seems to be incredibly hard to play at the world stage. So more teamfight oriented picks could be big.
Febivim teasing a Riven pick here.
Before he became a professional player, Febivim was actually a very big Riven main. Obviously, his real name is Fabian, Riven, Febivim. That's potentially where it comes from. He was a Riven one-trick pony. He may actually end up playing a Veigar here. We'll see, but...
Will they actually even pick a mid laner right now?
I feel like the majority of these hovers are just taunting AHQ about their game yesterday.
True, that's actually true. The Veigar was played against him. No, I think we've deducted the champ select. This is why we don't talk about hovers.
No, we can, because it's all about the mind games, right? The hovers front. See, the hovers in Korea are pretty much there to just control the Korean caster Cloud Templar. And he
Jungle Olaf as well. Give it a second.
Maybe. Yeah.
Reignover special.
All right.
Reignover special. It's what he was the pretty much only person to play Olaf jungle. Already the inbuilt synergy with the Sivir, so they're building very heavily around this.
Well, Jinx is going to have a lot of people running out of that. She's going to have a hard time stopping.
Actually wasn't too big of a fan traditionally of Annie as a support, but her value seems to be pretty high in this World Finals, where she just provides instant hard CC.
Yeah.
That's what a lot of these teams have been looking for. A lot of these fights could go different ways. Could still see no Kalista actually this game.
Well, you're trying to get on the Jinx, right? And I mean, where you've already got the top lane picked, you can't go to like a Malphite or anything right now unless it's a rare Malphite support. So this makes sense. Put Olaf in the jungle.
Wouldn't mind to see a Morgana here, honestly, coming out of the Albus here. Black shielding that Jinx, keeping her alive. No axes, no Annie stun available. Kiting those Juggernauts.
Oh boy. Fizz, but the Tom Kench, it's the seafood duo.
Unbench the
Picked up
Kench.
by HQ. Unbench the Kench.
Yeah, Westar goes back to Fizz yet again. It's expected. It was banned against him almost every game during the regular season in the LMS. It was countered yesterday by a nice pushing comp, and Fnatic has been spectacular in rotations. If Febivim picks a somewhat safe, long-range, wave-clearing mage, it would fit right into what Fnatic wants to do.
Zillion would be an unlikely choice, but something that perhaps could handle that Fizz. You know, I mean, the Veigar, we saw it work really well into the Fizz last time. You know, is Febivin willing to play that kind of champion?
Does the composition really require a Veigar? He has so many more options that he could play. Veigar is tricky. Westor obviously has learned his lesson. Probably knows that matchup a little better.
Feels like a Victor game.
I agree.
Any game feels like a Victor game.
What about a Yorick game, guys? No. No. Oh, okay. I was going to say. Orianna makes a bit more sense.
move speed.
There we go.
All right. Also more shielding for assassination.
Very well-rounded composition here from Fnatic.
Yeah.
The weaknesses of Olaf and Darius as champions, obviously, that they can't get to their targets. Double movement speed steroids here, a support that can lock the enemy in place. Obviously, will rely on being eaten up by his support, save him out of that damage.
And I'm thinking about the way AHQ wants to play this game. They need Ziv and Westor actually to have pretty strong laning phases because they need split push pressure in order to get flanks for some team fights. I really do wonder, Fnatic is such a good team as a unit with all the move speeds synergizing with the two champions that want to just run straight at the enemy.
Also, just look at the innate amount of wave clear that Fnatic has ready. Even Olaf with a couple axes puts a wave lower. Orianna instant clear wave. Sivir instant clear wave. The hardest part for HQ will be their wave clear. AoE rockets from Jinx is their best wave clear tool. That is really rough if you get any amount of gold behind.
Now we saw the Bard from IG. Now we're seeing the Tom Kench from AHQ. Are one of these slightly more unorthodox support picks going to work? Obviously, the Bard didn't do it. We'll see if Tom Kench can pull some slack, pull the line, I would say. If you had Tom Kench on the line, you'd probably get away with it.
Crepo, have you saved any like Tom Kench jokes?
There's a bunch of unbench to Kench memes, but we're going to let Twitch chat fill that one up, hopefully.
All right, well, guys, if you are on your phone, you want to use that Twitter hashtag AHQWin if you think they can take it, or hashtag FNCWin over to @LOL Esports. Let us know what you think as we move into our final game of the day here on day 3 of the League of Legends 2015 World Championships. AHQ versus Fnatic. It's time to get onto the rift.
If you're unfamiliar with Tom Kench overall, his job is really to be a pesky nuisance and peel. To stop people from getting to your AD carry. If they do, then disengage, eat up the AD carry. We may see another aggressive 5v5 here though. Yellowstar instantly charging up that stun.
He is when played well, he is one of the most annoying supports to play against. It's almost like the way it feels when trying to kill a support when they have a Kalista on their team is like trying to kill an AD carry when they have a Tom Kench on their team. You go for him, Kench eats it, has all this great health, you feel like you're wasting your time trying to hit him, then the AD carry gets spit out in the other direction.
So is it dinner time for AHQ?
30 seconds until minions.
I wonder, a little bit of wards going down, some very, very safe fanning going on from both of these teams here at level 1.
Mountain and Ziv, those guys really need to snowball their matchup, really. Get that top lane ahead. Mountain needs to get some aggressive ganks off. Olaf, no flash. If you catch him in the jungle early when he's low, you definitely can kill him.
Yeah, a little bit of a slightly late invade, but again, you know, no real deep wards for either of these teams. As it looks like we will have a bit of a jungle follow early on. Do you think they're going to send Huni down to the bot lane right away, or is he going to stick with Reignover for a bit?
Pretty much every team starts with at least a 2-camp double jungle as far as top laner and jungler go. Even if there's no lane swap, it's more efficient because the junglers save damage and the top laner is able to go to lane with extra potions.
Look what Reckless and Yellowstar are doing though. They're not going for Krugs. They may secure a 3rd quadrant here for Fnatic overall, the way this lane swap could play out, because AHQ 4-man starting in their safest quadrant overall.
It's true, AHQ is getting mind gamed a little bit here. Depends which. No, Fnatic's not going for a camp at all. They were expecting a start in that quadrant and were looking to harass instead of just starting on a grump. That could have been really huge.
And then obviously Reignover and Huni are just going to continue double jungling. No reason for Huni to go to that bot lane when there's so many camps available. Yellowstar is just on scouting duty. That's all he needs to do. Find and locate the enemy jungler. Now he's potentially counter ganking some level 2 cheesier in the mid lane.
Good try for this early gank here. He's got that stun loaded up. Could go for a flash W or something. Or just walk in and try to get the flash out of Westor. Reignover coming over too. Westor already getting very low. He hits level 2.
Yeah, Westor smartly playing towards his strong side of the map where all his allies are, so would have been really hard for the Yellowstar to actually get something on that. But I love what Fnatic did right here, shortcutting the double jungle. And it's going to be a dragon, but the tempo loss for AHQ is huge here. As far as gold and experience goes, Fnatic is going to have a really big edge on this, as well as they're going to get control of 3 of the major buffs.
They can even, like, they can send Huni top right now, push in the tower relatively delayed. Reignover can return to his jungle with all 3 camps and the Scuttle Crab still available. Whereas at the opposite side of the map, there's only a Grump left for HQ to take, so very big tempo swing.
Yeah, early Dragon taken by AHQ, but Fnatic responding with a lot of pressure here in this top lane. We'll see if AHQ can get any sort of semblance of equalization down in bot. It's going to take a long time.
Yeah, I've seen these trades go a lot of different ways. If a team is snowballing really heavily, it almost adds insult to injury to the team that didn't take the Dragon, but that's after they make a mistake. If Fnatic plays this properly, they will hold an advantage, and by the time the next Dragon comes around, they would be able to capitalize on that advantage, just due to the extra golden experience they gained while the 3-minute Dragon was being taken by HQ.
Last game, Huni forgot to take that tower down. If you remember, he left it on a couple of hits. This time, they're guaranteeing, they're sharing the gold too. Rekkles needed a little more gold for his item. Huni, that wave is being bound, so he can safely farm. He's not going to be punished in this Gnar Darius matchup, as many top laners have so far.
Yeah, and all of this with the bottom turret for Fnatic really not taking any damage. Oh, the Q stops Rekkles, or Reckless, for going back. Rekkles.
Technically, it is written Rekkles.
Yeah.
It is. You spell it phonetically.
All the way back in his first major tournament, IPL 5, the Rekkles and Reckless debate was in full swing. I still want to call him Rekkles, but I've just gotten so used to calling him Reckless because he says so.
That's one of the things about esports, is that you don't really always know how these guys are going to pronounce their names. Like, try casting in Korea sometimes, man. We had Gorilla go from Gorilla to Galira, back to Gorilla again. Expression, we're like, all right, it's misspelled Expression. We're just calling. No, he wants to be called Expression. It's not easy sometimes.
Actually, due to...
And do you call him AN or AN? You just gotta go with it.
If there was an H, I'd call him On more.
Interesting though, the way HQ interrupted them completely changed their reckless state. Huni went around.
Reignover right there. Actually, Ziv comes back in. Where's that flash? He's gone. First blood goes to Reignover. Whoops.
That was huge, and specifically credit to Huni for getting the apprehend during the Gnar jump. We've seen so many Darius Gnar ganks be attempted where that apprehend does not catch the Gnar, but Huni was able to do it.
HQ felt comfortable because Albus canceled 2 backs, and they thought Huni was actually being swapped down to the bot lane, but they actually just pathed it around together with Reignover. Lulled Ziv into a fake sense of security and then punished that. That was actually a very creative play there by Fnatic. Meanwhile, on the bot lane, on and call him whatever you want. He's just freezing, not putting any pressure. A 4-man roam.
West door takes the south door out of the mid lane to try to escape with his life. Won't need to burn any summoners, it looks like.
It's an effective door to take.
It is.
Yeah, here. I do have to mention that the 80 carry priority for AHQ is really huge, and the fact that they forfeited so much and still not gained a major advantage for and over Reckless is disastrous for AHQ. As far as 80 carry CS differential at 10 minutes goes, AHQ had the highest of any team at Worlds with over 10 coming into this. And Reckless is actually a pretty conservative laner, so if AHQ was going to win something, it would have been that 80 carry matchup. But with the way these lane swaps are being engineered, Fnatic is just winning across all fronts.
Huni hasn't gotten that much CS though. He's still even CS here with Ziv overall because of the way
He's got a lot more gold, though, globally.
Yeah, obviously he was part of that first spot, so he's definitely in a comfortable position. Overall, just due to the level 1 start, HQ, they did something you really can't afford to do on the world stage, which is a single quadrant start jungle with no backup plan.
Jeez, it's like a 2K gold lead already for Fnatic at just under 7 minutes. Can't really go too much worse for AHQ. They're going to need to really play it out perfectly for like the next 10 minutes at least if they want to come back in this game.
Yeah, and at the very least, push down the turret. They're leaving it up. They're not getting any gold influx to them right now, and they're stuck in these defensive lanes. Maybe their hope is that the next time Fnatic tries to push a turret, they can win a fight because they're still technically CSing pretty well as a team. They're just losing out hugely on objective gold.
I mean, CSing well as a team, but I mean, that means they're keeping up. You know, they're not ahead. They need turrets. They need that gold.
I agree.
Febiven getting a little bit more for himself. And gonna grab that blue buff too.
This is the part of the matchup where you actually can start pushing out pretty aggressively. Sustained push from the Orianna. Forcing Fizz to wave clear under his turret obviously keeps him down. He does bring the Ignite to the table. Febiven will need a clutch cleanse there to get out of that.
A Reignover getting a ward down in the enemy jungle too. I mean, Febiven is so extremely safe in this lane right now.
The crowd is cheering for every successful Febiven CS.
Yeah, he got one. It's more gold. Is he gonna do it? 2 at once here. It's a possibility.
Whoa!
So good.
Mesmerizing.
That Faker who?
Watch him see yes.
I love this crowd. This is, I think this is actually the best crowd I've ever seen live. These guys are so excited about everything. I love it.
Mostly instigated by the in-house casters here, Chips and Y,
Dude.
the band of merriment that they brought to the table too. So
They are
fantastic
so
audience
good.
here.
Every time I've come to France for an event, it has been amazing. I've done it, I think this is my 4th time here, and the crowds are just always mind-blowing.
Need some more Pantheon, but we'll get to that potentially. Alright, Huni now CSing on the tower. Actually doing a phenomenal job, as the crowd indicates. Let's go up to single one.
They're actually getting most of the CS.
Huni, you're fired.
Can I hire this crowd when I'm playing solo queue? I need those kinds of cheers. Well, Reckless might be in a little bit of trouble. No, just spell shields is right through the flame choppers, takes some damage. Whoa, the rocket misses!
This is very deceptive for the players, because every time they hear a cheer, they're like, what are they cheering for?
Whoa, Ziv pulled in. He doesn't have his flash. He needs to be careful here, trying to get away. Activates that hyper rain over, being chased back by Westor, who comes up. Huni back under turret now, so a little bit too much pressure to go after that kill.
Yeah, I mean, this is one of the West Door roams. Unless that pays off, it's going to be heavily punished. Febiven already with pressure in the mid lane. Going to take a chunk out of that mid turret.
Big chunk.
HQ has to answer with at least a turret at the top.
Yeah, roaming always brings a very large opportunity cost, especially if the enemy laner isn't even chunked out. Feb with full resources can just continuously keep shoving here. Reckless getting poked by these zaps.
Huni taking some damage. Mountain doing it, trying to get that execute. Ziv trying to get there. Huni in big trouble, and Mountain gets the kill.
This is something we've seen Huni do before. When his team is slightly ahead, he just doesn't quite respect his opponents just enough and ends up dying on another very predictable manner. So Huni needs to shore that up in his play. Fantastic 1v1 clutch player, but then these slow, very predictable reganks, he sometimes still falls to.
One of the only ways that AHQ comes back in that is if Huni gives up a kill. And that's what that was. It was a giving of a kill.
Very true.
Because it was very easy to concede that turret and the team would still come out ahead. Now,
He's going to be able to catch up in a lot of CS because of the wave that he's getting at the moment, but still, I mean, he needs to be careful that he doesn't fall too far behind again.
And just look at mid lane, 30 CS, that was the cost of that roam, so you really want to get that value somehow. Also, that mid lane tower, that is some hidden cost. Once that one falls, that swings the game open, especially wave clear mids against non-wave clear mids with the tower down, gives you so much pressure advantage. Deep vision becomes even easier to place.
Huni is pushed up really far.
Oh, over the wall, goes for the execute, gets dodged by the rappel. He's coming back down. Oh, doesn't hit him with the E, and Huni in a little bit of trouble. Teleport coming in, Tom Kench trying to join the fray. Huni gets taken down by Mountain yet again, but it's a kill on both sides as Rainover comes in. He's in danger of getting eaten here, though. He's got the two blue buffs knocked against the wall, and Albus comes in to help it out, getting bloodthirsty, picks him up, spit him out. Albus getting the kill.
Steals a kill.
Why would
If you have the stacks, you have to press W. You even saw him hesitate.
Dude,
Do I go for it?
did you know Tom Kench can eat people? Why would you not ever do that?
Why would you ever not do that? Because Ziv doesn't eat kills on a top lane, clearly.
Yeah, Tom Kench does. You got that right.
Yeah.
You're at. I will agree
Tom
with that
Kench is
analysis.
technically a top laner too. Maybe he can just role swap, you know. Our support, Tom Kench top
See,
lane
people
comes
are.
out.
I think people are mistaking his name. It's Tom Kench. It's not Top Kench. He's not meant to go in the top lane. I don't care what you say. Support.
Well,
We
up to
claim
Albus. He
him.
wants the
We
kills.
supports claim Tom Kench.
Either way, that's a couple of kills that Huni's given up.
Yeah.
And it's sneaking AHQ back into this game. The mid lane is down, so the pressure should actually be near its higher points for Fnatic. And the grouping is closing in around this Dragon number 2 as well as bot lane turret. But Huni is still in the top lane without a teleport, and it actually gives Dragon control to AHQ.
In all seriousness, that was as we see Raynor being challenged here now in his own jungle. Like, I could almost call it a tilty play from Huni. He dies and he wants to teleport deep to just get a counterplay 2v1 with no backup. Yes, Raynor comes in, but then the Abyssal Voyage brings in Tom Kench, and it wasn't necessary, not at all. And this is not really the style we've seen Fnatic develop. Slow, calculated, meticulous. That's the way they've played in Summer Split. This scene more Fnatic of Spring. Rash, you know, all in. Huni trying to mechanically outplay people instead.
Yeah, they need to calm down. They need to calm down, and it seems like that's kind of what they're doing now. Nice spell shield by Reckless to absorb that torch from Jinx, which doesn't seem like it hurt much anyway, but might as well get the mana. Ziv.
Man, he's now pulling ahead.
Yeah.
It is a very straightforward matchup to play. Stay out of his apprehend range.
Yep.
That is
Not-
TLDR in our Darius matchup.
Oh, Mountain trying to make a play with Albus onto Rainover here. Rainover, I mean, what a career he's had since he moved to Europe. I mean, in Korea, he wasn't known for being a great player. They called him Game Over because he really, you know, that was it. You got him on your team, it was game over. Big change for this guy, come into Europe, making a name for himself.
Still game over, just in the other direction. 18-0 with Fnatic in the regular season.
That was game over in a good reason. Well, maybe not this game, but we'll see. It's still very close. Fnatic still with the gold lead, but that might change as this turret looks like it could go down fairly soon.
And this was the initial lane stuff tower HQ decided not to take down at all. So they really want to keep that lane, even be able to bounce back the waves on. Didn't feel comfortable playing in a long lane, but so far they're hanging out. The gold hasn't really changed all too much.
He's got the safety of Tom Kench behind him. He also has a pickaxe advantage on Reckless as far as straight AD is concerned. The only danger would be a Yellow Star all-in with some gank potential, but they're very happily taking small chunks out of that turret.
And those plays on the top lane, that lack of pressure has kind of locked up Yellow Star too, because he's now stuck dealing in that bot lane, keeping Reckless in the lane, but traditionally we've seen a lot of roams come out of Yellow Star. Him together with Reignover at this point in the game, you would very often see them roaming, but HQ, they have some really good vision control. Look at those 2 pink wards and 1 extra up top. Like the base position of pink wards have been filled, so HQ, a lot better position in this game compared to last.
I'd agree. You know, one interesting thing about this game, too, is that the kills haven't exactly gone to where the teams would prefer them on. A couple to the junglers, 1 to the support.
All right, smoke those pink wards.
Hey, Ward.
They're gone.
I guess so.
Well, there's that. And
There's
immediately HQ actually has to retreat.
You feel the pressure.
Because they have no vision within their own jungle, which makes an incredible feeling of pressure right there. Because if they stay under the turret, for all they know, they could be getting 4-mendo.
Hello, Darkness, my old friend. Get back to base, pick up some items. This does finish it very early.
But even to go back and
edge.
get the wards, it's still dangerous. Unless they can actually see Fnatic recalling. But if Fnatic plays this right, they will recall and fall.
That looks like it's going to be a turret for Fnatic.
That's actually something.
3-0.
That is something EDG does incredibly well when you watch them play. They abuse Fog of War to their advantage so much, and I hate it when I see people base in full vision because you just give your opponent so much free information.
Yeah.
Top level teams, that is often the difference.
You basically say, hey, you know what? If you want to come to this part of the map, you can. It's fine. You're safe for a little while. That's not something you want to do. HQ looking to respond with a turret of their own. They'll be able to take the top one, but that is their first turret of the game. They do have the 2 dragons, though.
And that bot tower could fall down soon, too.
Yeah, really could. There's a chance that HQ has held out pretty well from the early game pressure disadvantage they opted into with that dragon. The mistakes that Huni granted can almost slingshot AHQ ahead if they are able to win a team fight of some kind.
And remember, Westor is a very good assassin split push player on that Fizz.
Whoa,
on gets popped.
They're going after him here. Westor gets stunned by that Timbers. Could be in trouble. Turning around as the teleport comes in for AHQ. Ziv is there as well, too. That's a kill for Westor. Fnatic getting Reckless as Reckless tries to escape. They come in, they get a kill, but it looks like they'll pay for it. Jinx Rocket, non-consequential. Huni flashes. Can he actually catch Ziv? No, he can't. He's about to go Meganar. Here comes Tom Kench. Not going to be able to catch Huni.
Here comes...
You know, he could just pick up Ziv and run after him. He's got that move speed, but it doesn't look like they're going to go for it.
The way Westor turned around there was actually incredibly smart. Like, he saw the teleports and he turned around to finish Annie, and then somehow Ziv stayed alive. 3v2 long enough. Impressive play here from AHQ.
That's a turret, too, for AHQ. And Fnatic in a lot of trouble now.
And this could be the slingshot. HQ fell back in the early game, and now they're flying ahead of Fnatic because of the mistakes Huni made and that nice play by Westor, as well as the globals there enacting the teleport from Ziv and the Tom Kench just to make some safety at the end of this fight.
Switch that again. Just keep your eyes on here how Westor decides. His teleport is coming behind him. Huni teleports ahead of him, so he has to turn around. They finish off Yellow Star, and then they turn to Reckless. 2 for 2 would be actually a decent trade here, considering that they fight 2v3, but actually ends up just being a 1v2 here. Kill trades, and then Ziv still survives.
Yeah. Really nice jump to
and forces the flash.
Barely outrange.
Or gets the flash, you know.
Yeah.
Tomato.
Technically, he forced flash because it was used.
We talked about Huni.
Have no cooldowns, it's flash.
I mean, we talked about Huni waiting, of course, to use that apprehend until the hop started. He didn't that time. He used it really early, right after he got in, and that made it easy for Ziv to escape.
Especially if you look at the weaknesses of this HQ composition, we touched on it in the draft already. No wave clear at all. But because they're actually still even in the lane, they can put...
Whoa, big shockwave brings in on an Albus. Albus eats his buddy, keeps him safe.
Say they can put on mid without anything to worry about. Still have to worry about that shockwave.
Well, he's a bit slimier, but he's alive. That's the important thing.
And these are the trade-offs that Westdoor makes in almost all of his games. He almost always loses CS in order to try and create kills and pressure on the other side of the map. But mid laners in the LMS are not nearly as good at punishing this as there are at Worlds. Febiven with a 70 CS advantage, only 18 minutes in. And despite the kill, 1,300 gold up.
Uh-oh. Mountain gets slowed down by that undertow, trying to get away. Westdoor coming from the side, Mountain with the repel. Albus trying to get in there. He's going to flash over the wall, pick up his friend here. Yellowstar in a lot of trouble. Going to go down. Westdoor gets the kill. Gets taken out, though, as Hooney comes in. It's a brawl. There's the zone. He's used by Febiven. It's another kill for Rainover. Zip still in touch from the side. A lot of members low for Fnatic. That's kills all over for AHQ. Meanwhile, Hooney still going at it with On. He gets the kill. 4 on both sides. It's a top laner battle. Hooney trying to catch Ziv, and Ziv just going to run away. Are they still going to go in? No. So 4 for 4.
Couple team fight mistakes in this fight still. Febiven flashed into a wall, and then AHQ committing so hard to kill the support Yellowstar after he's already used Tibbers. Questionable move there by Westdoor, spending his ultimate for that, but overall a 4 for 4 trade. So,
and this is not the controlled game many were expecting after Fnatic strangled out IG 2 days ago in the first game here at Worlds. This fight in particular, total chaos, really. The annoyance of Tahm Kench showing true here, flashing over the wall just to eat, and that prolongs the fight. So yes, Westdoor went on a bad target, but it was the target his fish landed on, and he's really just trying to get kills to start his goal beat off. The big thing here was the way the front lines were playing. On was really close to resetting this fight, but Hooney was at least in the right position to zone him out. Chaos in the backside.
And that failed flash. If Evan went over the wall, he could have killed Mountain, but Mountain had time to get out of spider form. In that case, turn around and actually finish him off. So Ziv also has been shown really good distance management.
HQ's going to want to fight over this dragon right away.
They do. They don't want them to get it. Fnatic gets it anyway. There's going to be a fight. Fish onto Yellowstar yet again. On coming in from the side. Unopposed. Rainover trying to get to him with that Ragnarok. A kill comes in already for Fnatic. Ziv getting low. Finally, Albus so healthy with that Greyhound. Not anymore. That's a double kill for Reckless. Yellowstar finally gets taken out. It's a triple kill, though, for Reckless. And finally, Hooney takes him. There's a double kill for Ziv, though, on the other side. It's nearly an ace. Once again, a big brawl, but this time 2 for 3 in favor of Fnatic.
LMS teams, in particular AHQ, are never willing to give up a dragon for nothing. So they go in really hard despite the dragon being down. And also, we just talked about Westdoor's target selection. He again all-ins Yellowstar and actually does not have the burst yet to even one-shot. So he is a complete non-factor in this fight, and it negates the advantage the other members of AHQ may have had.
Yeah, watch that again. If he had a Zonias, this is an okay move, but because he doesn't stun into Boomerang and one-shot, Westdoor completely useless in this fight. And On, he really needs some healing. Good shockwave from Febiven.
Yeah, and then you can see the Super Mega Death Rocket almost take them out for On, but Febiven sits at full health for pretty much the whole fight, and Ziv is unable to dodge the outside of the Darius Q on that occasion, which ends up trading the shutdown gold to Hooney.
Speaking of Darius, he's getting some items, he's getting some kills. Hooney much more relevant now than he was a couple minutes ago.
Only 1,000 gold, roughly behind 900 right now, and more importantly, he finished his core build. Black Lever and Deadman's Blade, that's all he needs in these team fights for Darius, so he doesn't really care that he's behind Ziv in particular, because Fnatic as a whole, as a team, they team fight way better. So HQ need to go back to this 1-3-1 split push again and find individual skirmishes, because Fizz is one of the strongest 1v1 assassins that they have here in this game.
You know, I gotta say too, Albus is not making a huge difference at the moment on this Tahm Kench. I mean, when it comes to a big 5v5 team fight, he's just kind of walking around a little bit.
Particularly that last one when Fnatic had the setup.
Yeah.
Really evident. Tahm Kench has some nice capabilities of coming in on the backside of chaotic fights and creating a difference because of the duration in which he can make someone untargetable. But really, if Fnatic sets up that well and HQ jumps in, it's not good.
Yeah, good point there, because compare the utility of a Tibbers versus an Abyssal Voyage. Abyssal Voyage is good if you can relocate between lanes. Again, 1v1 split push. Get your more members to a different lane quicker than Fnatic can expect it. Whereas in team fights, Annie takes the cake right there. An AoE 4-man Tibbers can decide to fight. Abyssal Voyage, not so much.
We're only 22 minutes in, and Febiven has nearly 100 CS over Westdoor.
That's insane.
The kills are even. Westdoor has been trying to roam and make plays, but the goal difference is 2,100 in that mid lane, and if an Orianna gets ahead, it shuts down Assassin.
We're also averaging 1 kill per minute, something we did not expect from Fnatic coming into this match. HQ we did, Fnatic not so much.
It was such a tactical game for Fnatic in their match against IG. Here they are, playing really crazy, honestly, being so aggressive, being overly aggressive at times, wanting to get in there for the skirmishing, and AHQ is answering. They're saying, all right, you want to fight? We'll fight too.
Yeah, Fnatic is defaulting back on a lot of really old habits in this game. So much of the spring split team was undisciplined, risky plays, and they completely cleaned it up for 3 to 4 months. But for whatever reason in this game, AHQ's has brought the old Fnatic back.
Well, I mean, they're lucky. Fnatic they're barely making it work at this point, but this game is so close. AHQ could still turn this around anytime.
That's the way, honestly, if you look at a team that is this crisp at Fnatic, you can take 2 approaches. Either you play the same crisp game style that you're not used to, or you bring them down to your level and you try and beat them with experience. And that is the approach. Controlled chaos here from AHQ, but they'll need some fancy moves right now because Fnatic, their fundamentals are still better. Their vision control, especially on this Baron buff, is just a lot more advanced than what AHQ is used to.
Well, they're finally, Fnatic that is, getting a little bit of side wave control back in that top lane. We'll see what they can do in the bot lane with Huni here. This Ziv, this Gnar is still pretty fed.
Yeah, and Frozen Mallet, if he gets in split push scenarios, he can completely dominate Huni and then have some teleport advantage. You can see he's consistently pushed up on that side of the map.
Yep.
Split push is almost set up for HP. They just need to get this wave in neutral or pushed in and then have a perfect 1-3-1. Unless Westar bases.
Now, Dragon is coming up in a
Both
minute
base.
30.
Just everyone base.
Yeah, because
Why split
Dragon's
push?
coming up in a minute 30, man. You gotta get ready to fight again.
Yeah, let's team fight that Dragon because our composition is totally built around that.
Oh, yeah.
It's exactly the way AHQ plays, whether or not their composition is built around it or not. The Dragon is where you team fight. And if you're not ready for that team fight, you are not winning those games.
It's like in that
way they're thinking.
300, man. It's like, this is where we fight. This is where, well, we might die too, actually, but well, they'll die a little bit. That's how it's been going for AHQ.
11 to 11, something's got to give.
Like, what is your profession? And Tom Kent is like, cooking. No, you're supposed to say war. Sorry.
Does like eating.
Eating.
He does have a certain amount of swagger to his walk.
He does.
Kench.
He does. He has a jolly swagger, I would say.
Ando,
I agree.
outside of all those swagger, yeah, I'm glad you agree there, Jen. Has had some really good positioning overall. And kiting, even though not many people have been peeling for him, he's done a decent amount of damage with those AoE rockets in fight, and has really dodged quite a few, shockwaves and just sidestepped a lot of the abilities. So keep your eyes on him for the team fights.
Westor is the big name, but Ziv and On are the carries of this team, through and through. They also became a much more powerful team when Mountain started jungling for the team and Albus moved down for support. So really, Westor is a cog in the AHQ machine, and he's trying to fulfill his role right here as a team fight flanker, but he needs to make the right decisions. This time, if he pulls a backline move, at least he has the Zhonya's Hourglass, so this fight should be more interesting. Mega Gnar is in the top lane as the Dragon spawns, so they have a very finite window here.
No deep wards though. Their jungle's on Krugs coming back right now, so very delayed on tempo here. Maybe they panic again.
Fnatic going for this Dragon. Can this steal happen? Oh, he gets it! Mountain steals the Dragon. That's not bad.
Don't have to fight for it. You can just steal it.
That works. Why not?
Genius.
All right.
They're one step ahead of us, Chad.
He had flash, he had the repel, it wasn't respected by Fnatic. They didn't use any spells to zone out. Honestly, I think they were too ready for AHQ to just pile in and fight them again.
Yeah.
They kind of forgot about the obvious play. That's the Elise steal who has an execute and therefore can outsmite your jungler.
I think you're absolutely right. Well, stun on Ziv. This may have not been wise to come down. You're going to take a lot of damage. Goes Mega Gnar at the last second. Oh, here comes Westor looking for some kills. Misses his ultimate, though. Fade away from Reckless. Can he survive the playful trickster? He can with the flash. Mountain still harassing that AD carry. Oh, there's the damage. And there's the kill for Reckless. Meanwhile, a ton of kills for Fnatic as they chase away AHQ. Ziv forced the flash. Huni didn't even hit the E. They can turn onto this Baron whenever they want.
Such good juking from Reckless, and he has faith in his own mechanical ability. You can see upgraded his alacrity boots because he knows he has the mechanics to sidestep, and this just gives him that little extra edge. While everyone was trying to kill Reckless, the rest of Fnatic was cleaning up on the backside, and that's the game-changing moment in this game.
Yeah, such a fantastic play there. Ziv coming in to harass, but Fevin should have the zone control. Huni should get back to the Baron. That goes down.
I got it.
If we see that again, I want to see if he actually shielded that fish from Westor.
I wonder.
I think he did, and that means the fish will drop down. If you have the spell shield on, the fish will not latch onto you.
It was right on him. I mean, he must have, right?
Yeah, it looks like Westdoor did the dash to him and then fish right away to kind of cancel the cast animation,
Yeah, I
which
think
normally
so.
locks it on. But Reckless, I think, saw it coming. We'll see in the replay.
And then somehow, the back end of that fight got completely slaughtered
We didn't
by
even
Reynov
see
and
that,
Hooney.
yeah.
You could just imagine that Olaf and Darius had just had a fun time whacking away. On the, everybody was looking at Reckless, including
Oh
AHQ.
boy. Okay, here we go.
Brothers.
Let's see what happens here.
Yeah, it was a nice start by Ziv, considering how caught he was, to get the Gnar stun into the wall. And let's see Westdoor. It was point blank right on Reckless, but doesn't stick because of the spell shield.
Yellow Star does get taken out here, but
And again, on the
Backside
bottom
of
end of
the
your
fight.
screen, you don't see it, but On is just getting wrecked there in the fight. Good shockwave
boy.
from Febiven. And again, nobody is peeling for On. The composition is built actually around a hypercarry Jinx, but nobody's helping him in these team fights.
yeah, saying good luck to Jinx and like running off is not generally the best way to keep your ADC alive.
Yeah, and now Reckless has a QSS, so even if he doesn't spell shield the fish, he can QSS to drop it and still walk away. Not to mention Febiven is kind of sneakily carrying this game. The amount of pressure he's put and CS he's picked up while Westdoor is attempting shenanigans is really giving Fnatic a huge edge.
He's had some great shockwaves in team fights, and Fnatic uses that Baron already to take out the tier 2 turret in mid.
Febiven has just overall become a very consistent force on Fnatic, and they can just lean on him even when one of these side lanes perhaps doesn't get the win they require. You can always rely on Febiven to have at least even or ahead CS, and then he can even just shine in team fights. So Fnatic overall using that to their advantage.
Pretty sure this is the largest mid lane CS discrepancy yet.
Yeah, it's huge. It's massive. Just like the massive damage going down on that mid lane turret.
wait,
AHQ, the desperation is real, man. Are they going to fight it? Not just yet. The turret goes down. Fnatic moves in with that Baron buff to try to go for the inhibitor. Hooney tried to flash play there. Didn't work out, but they get the inhibitor.
There is some synergy on that basketball Darius with Orianna.
There can be.
Well, Sivaralt is down and the Darius flash, so HQ wouldn't mind a fight here. I wonder if they go.
Oh, Yellow Star has to flash away. Hooney, or Zip rather, gets a Gnar out. They pull him in anyway. There's the fish on the rain over. Still, the carries for Fnatic are okay, and that is going to mean the damage turns around. Double kill, though, for On.
That's the beginning of the
excited.
resets.
That's right. Westdoor getting the kill, triple kill, and that is nearly going to be an ace. It will be the ace as Febiven finally gets taken out. Kill for Tom Kench, and AHQ gets a near clean ace.
I love the way On plays this fight. After his first kills, many Jinx players would just storm forward to get resets. He actually sidestepped one of the ball movements from Febiven, then went in for the play.
Played it
At the
safe.
end, we see how much damage that ball can do, because this could be an entirely different fight. But overall, Fnatic, they stayed a little too long.
What a massive turn in this game.
Yeah.
That was such a huge gold swing. Not only are they getting 2 turrets off of this and an ace, those were shutdown kills on a lot of people, so that's an extra ignition of gold into that team. It's now a 1,000 gold game despite all of the punishment they've taken early.
All right, let's check this one out. How did this all end up happening?
We have to remember that the flash on Darius was down as well as the Sivaralt, so they can't actually disengage. Then Shockwave doesn't have much impact because of the pull by Westdoor, and On is untouched since Darius can't flash to get on him, and because the Shockwave was used elsewhere.
Yeah, that 4-man stun from Ziv, even though he just hit one guy with the ulti, the follow-up there hits 4 people, stun swords people, and then On with some good respect there for the Orianna ball from Febiven.
Yeah.
They just clean up that fight, and we see just how important the cooldowns are for Fnatic's lineup in these fights.
You know, I feel like we've been seeing Hooney all game long taking these excessively risky plays, like trying to get the flash engaged. It's flashy, but you're already killing the inhibitor. Just be happy with that.
You always have to see what does that play generate in terms of objectives.
Yeah.
If the inhibitor's already down, why would you flash it? And then you look at the opportunity cost of that play. What can we lose if this goes wrong? Apparently a lot.
They lose the Baron buff, they lose the fight, they lose some turrets, but they come right back and take this bot lane tier 2. So Fnatic, despite the game getting a little bit closer, seems to have bounced back quite nicely. They've got the waves where they want them to.
Yeah, that was actually the first negative Baron power play of the tournament when Fnatic had Baron. They lost gold in the eventual exchange, but this Dragon is now huge. AHQ, if they get this, start the timer for 5th Dragon. Can Westdoor flank? Will be a huge question in this fight.
He's going to try.
Oh!
No, that's a ton of damage. That might
he
be it
cannot
right
flank.
there. Okay, well, there's the answer to the question. Can they steal this Dragon, though? Mountain, I don't think he's even going to try it. It's only 2nd Dragon for Fnatic. It's a big one, but AHQ can let this go.
Yeah, they needed to. Febiven took Westdoor to half health before the fight began.
600 ability power right now on Febiven already.
Slammed that door.
No more 5 dragons, at least for another 12 minutes. HQ wanted to wait that long.
That's a long time, man. I mean, that would make this one of the longest games we've seen yet, if it goes that far. Fnatic, meanwhile, they've still got that pressure in the mid lane for the moment anyway. That inhibitor isn't going to come up for a little while yet. Probably not until after Baron comes up. Do you think that sounds right?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Going to be a while here.
It's true. Baron will be up. It's going to be a little bit hard for HQ to defend because they have to keep the mid lane pressured, which has been so easily pressured by Febiven up until now.
Yeah.
Also, Febiven just in these team fights, his shields, he's about to rank it up again. They're averaging around 450 to 460 HP that he can give off. Decent amount of cooldown reduction here, so that means a lot in these repetitive, in these slow, extended fights, where if Fnatic can just avoid getting caught and just kite, they're just in such a prime position to take this game, regardless of what the gold actually means here.
Well, AHQ just taking care of their side of the map right now. They've cleared out most of the wards. They've gotten a little bit of vision around the Baron. What do you do if you're Fnatic? How do you make sure you secure this Baron?
You ward your flanks. That is the most important part right here. You can't get into any situation where either Ziv or Wester comes from behind, because both of them are either tanky enough or have the ability to stall you long enough, whether it's a Ziv ultimate or general tankiness, or a Zonius Hourglass Wester, for the rest of the HQ lineup to collapse.
Yeah,
and waiting to teleport in.
More importantly, Fnatic needs to calm down.
Yeah.
They have continually gotten an edge from smart play and then lost it with some foolish, almost nervous looking play.
Yeah, Huni waiting for Doe there almost in the bot lane, and it's getting him upset. Seen a couple there aggressive flashes from him, but it just wasn't necessary at all.
Yeah, I mean, they've looked needlessly desperate in some of their plays today, needlessly frantic in some of their decisions, and I feel like this would be a much bigger lead for Fnatic if they had just played things a little bit more calmly. And Albus finds a pink ward.
As well as warding their flanks, I actually think it's good for Fnatic if they commit to running at someone.
Yep.
Every time there's a Sivir composition with Olaf and Darius, I literally just call it a run at the team composition.
Makes sense.
AHQ actually doesn't have that great disengage.
Huni has to teleport.
Oh man, has to teleport, but he takes it back up by the Baron. If they can use this to clear some wards, get some vision, they might be able to turn to their advantage.
Get some vision control, find someone, Sivir ult, Orianna distortion, and just go.
Yep. Oh, they are going, not even bothering to clear all those wards. Baron getting lower and HQ a little bit out of position here. Albus thinking of coming in, takes a big chunk from Febiven. They need to turn here. Baron's not dying soon enough. Here they go. Silver ult popped already. Febiven on the outside of the fight doing the damage. Ziv trying to get back there. A kill for him already. Huni not really doing a lot. And now HQ, they've got Fnatic on the run. Reckless has to pop that spell shield. Big shockwave though. They could maybe turn it around. No, it's a double kill for Ziv even though he is out of the fight. Fnatic, though, they fought it to a bit of a standstill, but I think AHQ still came out ahead.
Yeah, AHQ may very well win this game in tremendous comeback fashion. Febiven is doing all that he can to make sure Fnatic doesn't lose this game, specifically in that play. If you're going to just run at them, why get yourself low at Baron in the first place? By starting it, they only weakened themselves for the eventual fight, and they ran headlong into Mega Gnar. You have to be able to time it so he's not Mega.
Fnatic, they start a fight right now with imperfect vision right now. They get collapsed on by Mega Gnar. Look at that ulti from Ziv here.
Yeah.
Even a 5-man shockwave is not going to make it because Albus did a really good job there eating his AD carry on max range damaging, and at this point, HQ have win the fight. They actually overstand a little bit into the shockwave, make it a little easy. Mountain jumps for no reason at all. They could have disengaged it, but overall, this is the very few times we see Fnatic play into their opponent's hands the way they have been doing this game.
Yeah, there was perfect rage bar management by Ziv right there. And Fnatic, if they're going to be making that play, they need to be able to track the rage bar of Ziv as well as just have better overall vision control. But they are playing a little bit frantic, and now they actually don't get to make controlled, reliable plays because the game is even. They're actually needing to take some risks now if they want to actually win this game.
Yeah, look at how heavy they invested in vision. Sivir ulti, Talisman of Ascension, and Righteous Glory. If you have that much itemization and picks invested in movement speed, then you really have to make it work.
And by the time you start losing the fights, the movement speed becomes irrelevant because you do not want to run into your own demise.
Yeah. Trying to hide in the Baron pit for the moment. They're going to start Baron, actually. No vision right there for HQ. Going for it. They need to be ready to turn again, but taking more Baron damage.
I feel like we've seen this
we
before.
Talked about. That's right. Oh, the ultimate's up. Huni tries to pull an Albus, doesn't get it. On doing some damage from the side. They back off a little bit earlier this time.
Potential rotation here mid, though. Fnatic do have an incredibly quick Baron, but This is what it seems like a panic Baron to me, and panic Barons are very symptomatic to poor shot calling, something we haven't seen from Fnatic at all.
Oh
Look
boy.
at the mid lane.
The standoff.
Westdoor is pushing without teleport, so we'd have to make it down really quickly. And Fnatic, their Baron's actually not that quick, so he might make it back for this fight. Ziv does not have Mega Gnar.
He's there already.
Fnatic is low on 2 tanks.
He's back there going in there trying to rush down Ziv and Mountain, but here comes On and Albus as well. Westdoor, Playful Tricksters doesn't get the damage. Fnatic still posturing around this Baron. The dance continues.
On very confident in his support there. He gets grabbed there by the Apprehend, but Albus says, well, I'll just eat my AD carry and it'll be K.
Yeah.
Spits him out again. And hesitation there on Fnatic's side too. They could have engaged on, but they're so afraid of that time Kench Devour. They really don't want to commit to it.
This game is so close, but Westdoor putting the pressure on the mid lane. When he comes back to clear, he doesn't have that teleport yet though, and now HQ going for that crucial 4th dragon.
It's looking better and better for HQ, but this is really anyone's game. It's become so tense here at 38 minutes.
Yeah.
But in terms of styles, HQ is forcing Fnatic to dance to their tune. This is HQ's preferred playstyle overall. This is not what we've been used to seeing from Fnatic.
Well, HQ, they've got 4 dragons now. They've got pressure on. Now you do have to get a bit frantic if you're Fnatic, you know, right? Now you do have to try to take some of those risky fights. You cannot let HQ get that 5th dragon.
6 minutes
Absolutely.
remain.
Ziv has also been showing what a good top laner he can really be.
Yeah, he is having a phenomenal game on Gnar. 8, 2, and 11.
His spacing just in general. Rage bar management and spacing on Gnar is the 2 most important things you can do, and he does it beautifully. Every fight so far he's come in with at least a good solid Gnar ulti if he wasn't follow-up stun. And his rage has always been ready.
There's fairly limited disengage for AHQ to prevent Fnatic from running at them. But pretty much every time Fnatic has tried to group in a team fight, he's landed a massive Mega Gnar against the assaulting members of Fnatic.
Yeah, Ziv
Really
has gotten
impressive.
so big here. They're going to go in again, trying to jump onto Ziv. Rainover really fast. They're going to turn onto Albus. They've got him a bit separated, but he's still tanky with that gray health. Gonna go down though, and Rainover barely lives. This could open up a Baron though for AHQ. Ult popped out by Westdoor. Then pops at Zonia's. Can he live through it right in the Flame Choppers? Big shockwave though. AHQ still with the edge as Rainover and the rest of Fnatic make a run for it. There's a double kill for Westdoor. This one looks like it could be over. Yellowsword turns for the stun. It's not enough. It's gonna be another near ace. Huni wasn't even there.
Fnatic, they went for a fully unload on the Toad, but it wasn't enough. Look at how tanky Albus was. He stayed long enough to trade his life almost for Rainover on that jungle OF. And where was Huni through that entire fight?
Yeah, not
That's
there.
really it.
So many mistakes from Huni this game, but honestly, AHQ has capitalized so after such a large deficit. They're going to look to take a surprise win over Fnatic.
The death timers are very long, and Huni has to pull a miracle here if he's going to keep Fnatic in this game.
Flash is available for Huni. This may be the time he actually
good
wants to
TP.
use it.
Yeah, maybe. We'll see. He tries to go in. There goes the first Nexus turret. Ziv has done such a great job carrying this game back to Mega Gnar. One last time, throws Huni against the Nexus that AHQ is about to take out. AHQ takes down Fnatic.
AHQ bounce back from their day 1 upset against Cloud9 and make this group really interesting.
Yeah, they do. Wow. And Fnatic, phenomenal first game of Worlds. Second game, like we talked about, going back onto some of those bad habits. It's definitely, I don't want to say a worrying trend, but it's something to be a bit concerned about, isn't it, guys?
Isn't it one and the same?
It is. All right, we can just use that.
Yeah, the fact that Fnatic defaulted to some of their older habits.
Especially Huni.
Huni had a very poor
especially.
performance. That was the beginning of the loss of their league.
I mean, that Gnar matchup, again, it proves that it may not be worth thinking that Darius so early on first rotation on red side, because every team just has a comfortable answer for it that doesn't really give too much away. And
I mean, I still just can't get over how needlessly frantic Fnatic looked, especially Huni.